Elsword picks up some well-earned quality of life changes. Aftercharge is gearing up for its biggest closed beta session yet. Armored Warfare is headed to the Xbox One, and for the first time ever, Star Trek Online's next update is directly in line with the current airing series. What's up, guys? James Blonde here with a weekly recap for gaming news and announcements of the week of July 27th, 2018. And starting out the news this week, KOG Games brought some attention to several huge quality of life changes that recently debuted in Elsword. The latest Elsword Insider Volume 4 goes over the highlights and details, but just to point out a few, Skill Slot B and Quick Slot expansion is now free. And an ED shop has been added into the item mall so that players can exchange ED for new items like costumes, pets, and consumables. Quests related to fields have also been removed or had their rewards altered, as Eldertown and Rubintown are now directly connected by portal. Now, starting at level 5, players can skip quests, receiving the item rewards and half their XP rewards, making leveling their alts faster. Characters' average item level rating has been replaced by combat and defensive power ratings, just to name a few things. There is a massive list of other changes that have been made in the last week or so, and as always, you can get the full breakdown of these new systems linked in the description below, along with a link to the latest combo highlights video that you see playing in the background here, and I've got to say, these are actually pretty satisfying to watch. Next up, a new update is on its way for Space Engineers in the way of a massive multiplayer overhaul. The developers are experimenting with prediction protocols for their client-server infrastructure and seeing if they are an important or a detriment to the player experience. Space Engineers has many systems, and special care had to be taken for each one of them. This is why the update has taken almost 6 months to prepare. Well, at least it's almost here. Another important feature is the addition of the female engineer, which was added in as a response to community feedback. The female engineer has been built from scratch with new animations and movements, and she can be customized with all of the available skins for the male engineer, of course. New safe zones have also been added in, as well as a new player respawn system and a brand new experimental mode, whatever that might be. Pretty decent amount of changes that should attract players back to the game that were already in it, hopefully providing them with what they were looking for in the first place. So it looks like No Man's Sky isn't the only game that got the multiplayer it deserved recently. Also this past week, it was announced that Aftercharge, Chainsawsom's Invisible Robot Brawler, is headed to Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC later this year. In Aftercharge, teams of invisible robots rally against their indestructible oppressors by trying to destroy their coveted energy extractors that those security enforcers protect. There are 10 playable characters to pick from in this intense game of cat and mouse, which, as you could tell, seems like a total mix of several different games, to say the least. To celebrate, Chainsawsom is holding their biggest battle to date in early August, where thousands of community members will be invited to test the 3v3 asymmetrical brawler shooter from August 3rd to the 5th on Steam. According to the developers, this is the absolute largest playable build to date and the biggest closed beta session of the game's dev cycle, and is set to feature new characters, more maps, and of course more action, which is the important part. On a slightly similar note, Realm Royale, Hi-Rez's massively popular take on the Battle Royale genre, is headed to console. The game, which drew over 4 million players in its first month on Steam, will debut on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One next week in the closed beta test. For those of you not in the know, Realm Royale sets itself apart from the crowd of Battle Royale games with its unique class system, mounts, and chickens. Since Realm Royale first released on PC, the top 3 questions on social media have been console, Xbox, PS4, mayhaps? Says Rory Newbro, executive producer of Realm Royale. I'm not sure if those were actually questions so much as they were demands, but, you know, we understand the community wants Realm Royale on console, and we're thrilled to announce that testing starts next week. If you're dying to drop into the fray, you can sign up for a key right now on the official Realm Royale website. Next up, after a successful closed beta period, hero shooter Paladins is now free to play on the Nintendo Switch. The game initially launched as a paid early access title on the console, which included a founder's pack for early adopters. Hi-Rez's hard work on this version of the game really shows, as it runs at a full 60 FPS in both docked and handheld modes. And it offers complete crossplay with Xbox One players. Sorry, PS4 players. Yeah, Sony's just not going to let you win that one. Alongside the free-to-play launch, Koga, the latest champion, is debuting on the Switch. Koga's powerful SMGs and razor-sharp claws have already been tearing up the PC version of the game for a couple of weeks now, and with the official launch of Paladins on the Switch, he'll be putting his assassin skills to work on a whole new sea of targets. We're thrilled to see so many members of the Nintendo Switch community have already entered the realm and fallen in love with Paladins, said Chris Larson, executive producer on Paladins. It's incredibly exciting to open the gates and welcome all Nintendo Switch players to Paladins. Now, I've got to say, if I had a Switch, this is probably a game I'd have in my library, but for the time being, I've got to say I'm PC all the way. Well, and another dose of console news, seeing that 3 other games this week alone isn't enough. Armored Warfare is launching on the Xbox One in August. Armored Warfare, if you don't know, is set in a war-torn near future and sees players taking control of contemporary tanks to do battle on a global stage. Now, these battlefields range from sun-scorched islands to frozen cities and pretty much everything in between, and players can opt into competitive team battles or take on AI in intense PvE missions with a gripping underlying story. Plus, Global Operation combines the competitive and PvE modes together for up to 30 players, which is cool. Good news for you Xbox Gold account holders, as you get Armored Warfare for free in August as part of the Games with Gold program. There are also Founders Packs available for players who want to get the head start on the competition, which of course you can check out if you want in the description below. And finally, for our last bit of news, for the very first time in Star Trek Online, Captains will experience an update that is actually directly in line with the current airing series. So starting this fall, Age of Discovery will begin, launching players into a multi-part adventure based on the hit series Star Trek Discovery, which is airing currently. You'll actually get to join forces with Starfleet Academy's cadet Sylvia Tilly, voiced by Mary Wiseman, and play through 2 new episodes, reach new reputation tiers, and enjoy a bevy of new gameplay features. You'll even be able to make a new character from the Discovery-era Starfleet. Additional details, including the release date for Age of Discovery's first installment on PC, Xbox One, and PS4, will be announced later this year, so keep an eye out for that. Anyway, guys, that's about it for all the major news and announcements for this week. Like always, thank you so much for your support. For more information on the news topics, check the links in the description below. Feel free to discuss the news and even more news in the comments below, like you always do. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. But until next time, guys, that's going to be it for me. I'm James Blonde. See you out there, gamers.